Hello there, and welcome. Now, if you're managing a big campus, a hospital, a university, maybe a sprawling corporate park, you know the struggle of getting people from point A to point B. So in this explainer, we're going to dive into a complete strategy for turning that campus navigation from, let's be honest, a constant headache into a totally seamless experience.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Is your campus helping people, or is it actually getting in their way? I mean, really think about it. Every single confusing hallway, every out-of-date sign, every time someone hesitates, it all adds up. It creates a bad experience, and it throws a wrench in your operations. The goal here isn't just to stick up more signs. It's to build an environment that guides people almost without them even thinking about it.
And that really brings us to the big idea here today. Piling sign on top of sign, plaque next to plaque, that's not a strategy. It's just clutter. The truly modern, expert way to do this is all about integration. It's about weaving your navigation right into the very architecture of your buildings.
Okay, so first things first, let's really diagnose the problem. We've got to understand why the old ways of doing things just aren't cutting it in these big, complex spaces anymore. This is what we call the Campus Navigation Challenge.
Does any of this sound a little too familiar? The visual clutter from decades of signs just layered on top of each other. The sky-high maintenance costs for things that are constantly peeling, bubbling up, or just plain breaking. Maybe your messaging is all over the place from one building to the next. And every little update, it means a huge disruption. See, the real issue here is that traditional signs are basically fighting against your building's architecture, especially on those tough surfaces like brick or concrete.
All right, that's enough about the problems. To actually solve them, we need a whole new way of thinking. A clear, defined set of criteria for what a successful, modern wayfinding system is supposed to look like.
And here it is. This is the checklist that, frankly, every facility manager should be using. A modern system has to be legible, accessible, and durable, right? It needs a clear visual hierarchy. It has to be easy to clean and update. But it goes deeper than that. You have to be thinking about the total lifecycle cost, how it scales, and, this is a big one, how it performs on all your different building surfaces. A truly expert solution has to tick every single one of these boxes, no exceptions.
So, you might be wondering, what kind of solution can actually meet all 10 of those criteria? Well, let's talk about the technology that makes it all possible, the direct-to-wall solution. This is all about making your walls do the work.
So what exactly is direct-to-wall printing? It's a process that puts these incredible high-res graphics right onto your walls. And I don't care if they're painted drywall or rough-hewn brick. There are no adhesives, no panels, no seams. The navigation literally becomes a part of the building itself.
So the first and maybe most obvious benefit is that seamless integration we've been talking about. All that visual clutter from before? Gone. Poof. Instead of this messy layer cake of signs, you get crisp, clear information that looks and feels like it was designed to be there from day one. It respects your architecture instead of just covering it up. Second, let's talk about performance. This is where it gets serious. Because these graphics bond directly to the wall without any glue, they just don't peel. They don't bubble. They're built to stand up to service carts, harsh cleaning agents, and all the daily abuse of a high-traffic hallway. And that's the key takeaway here. You're not just getting some pretty decoration, you're getting a durable, integrated building finish.
And here's where this technology becomes a real powerhouse for places like hospitals and universities. It works on the exact surfaces that are a total nightmare for traditional signs and vinyl. We are talking about concrete masonry blocks, sealed concrete, even textured brick. It gives you a consistent look and feel across your entire campus, from the oldest buildings to the newest, in a way that just was never possible before.
Now think about the operational impact of this number. Less than 5 hours. That's how long it typically takes to do an installation in an area. The whole process is done on-site, a lot of times overnight, which means you get minimal or even zero disruption to your day-to-day. No closing down hallways, no long punch lists. It's just done.
Okay, so knowing the tech is one thing, but deploying it smartly across an entire campus, that's a whole other ballgame. So let's walk through what the expert's rollout model actually looks like. This is the how-to guide for doing it right the first time.
A smart rollout is never random. It always starts with an audit to find the real problem spots, your bottlenecks. Then you pilot the solution in just one building to prove that it works. Once you've got that validation, you standardize your visual toolkit, your colors, your fonts, your icons, so the experience is the same everywhere. Then you phase the deployment. You refresh it as needed,
maybe with a subscription model, and you monitor feedback and data to keep making it better. It's a living, breathing system.
And now for the final proof. Let's put the direct-to-wall approach right up against traditional vinyl and signage. We're going to see how it stacks up on the metrics that really matter to facility managers like you. Just look at this comparison. When it comes to speed, we're talking hours versus weeks. For durability, you're getting a fully cleanable surface with no edges to peel up, versus vinyl that's always at risk. And updates? This is huge. You can literally just paint over the graphics when you're ready for a change. With vinyl, you're always risking damage to the wall when you pull it off. I mean, across the board, from the visual quality to sustainability, the integrated approach is just a fundamentally smarter operational choice.
So the takeaway here couldn't be clearer. We have got to stop thinking in terms of just isolated signs and start thinking in terms of integrated systems. When your wayfinding is actually a part of your architecture, it just performs better, it lasts longer, and it's so much easier to manage.
And that really leaves us with one last thought. Your walls, they're already there. They hold up the roof, they define the spaces, but you know what? They could be doing so much more. So the real question is, are you ready to let them? Is your architecture ready to become an active, intelligent part of the visitor experience?